Coming to Myanmar now, where the endless cycle of violence continues. 3 more protesters have been killed. The death toll has risen to 67. 67 lives lost in 36 days. That's almost 2 deaths per day. The scale of violence has led to armed militias joining hands with the protesters. There are growing fears of an insurgency. There are also fears of an exodus. At least 30 people have crossed over to India in recent days. Among them are 8 policemen. Myanmar wants New Delhi to hand them back. Meanwhile, Australia has become the latest country to act against the army generals of Myanmar. Here's a report on the decision Australia has taken and all the latest developments from Myanmar as of 8th March.
We have reviewed our military engagement, and I announced yesterday that those activities would be suspended. We've also reviewed our development assistance, because one of the things that I do not want to do, and that Australia does not want to do, is to penalise the people of Myanmar. The people of Myanmar, who are amongst the poorest people in ASEAN and who have been dealing with significant challenges for a long period of time.
Australia has suspended its defence cooperation programme with Myanmar as the crackdown on anti-coup demonstrations intensify. From targeting them on the streets, security forces are now carrying out raids to intimidate protesters into giving up. These visuals are from Mandalay. They show armed police officers forcibly entering a university. One of them tosses a grenade-like object inside. As others storm in through the gate, more than a dozen teachers were attacked during this siege. The state media says forces are increasing their presence at hospitals and universities to enforce the law. But their own lawlessness is horrifying. Now take a look at this video. It shows police officials kicking and beating a protester as he lies motionless on the ground. The protester is then dragged into the middle of the street as other officials join in to beat him up. Such brutal use of force is being seen across the country. This video is from Yangon. A peaceful demonstration suddenly turns chaotic as the police begins indiscriminate firing. All the protesters can do is run for their lives. At least 3 people are said to have died on Monday, taking the death toll to 67. In many places, religious figures are out on the streets to demand an end to the violence. At least 200 monks took out a procession in Mandalay on Saturday. And in the city of Myitkyina, a crying nun stood in front of security forces, begging them not to shoot at protesters. This was Sister Anne Rosa Nutong, who is now being hailed as a national hero.
There's no one to protect Myanmar's people. We have to defend ourselves and help each other, as we can't trust anyone. It's not safe. The security forces arrest and beat those they don't like, or worse, they kill them.
The situation in Myanmar is extremely volatile. There are fears the protests could soon turn into insurgency, because armed militias like these are springing up in support of protesters. This is the Karen National Liberation Army, the most powerful militia group in the country. It has been fighting the Myanmar government since 1949. It is now escorting teachers and students to protest sites in the city of Dawei. Former insurgents from this group are carrying out processions in the country's east. They are helping people flee the violence. At least 30 people have crossed over to India in the last few days. Among them are 8 policemen who are said to have taken refuge in the Indian state of Mizoram. Authorities in Myanmar want India to hand over these policemen. The Indian Foreign Ministry is yet to take a decision. It says it's still ascertaining the facts. But one thing's for sure, the exodus of refugees from Myanmar has just begun. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.